Hi everyone, welcome to my fourth Monday Musings video as the Monaghan County Library's Writer-in-Residence. Today I wanted to show you how you can structure any story. And every story has 5 basic elements. The first element is a real human being that you're writing about, and we talked a lot about that in last week's video. So you have this real person in a situation, in a place. And that's your first element. The second is the fact that this person wants something, and they want something really so badly that they're willing to go on a quest, on a journey to get it. So you have this person in a situation who wants something badly. Now every day of their life is like that. Every day of their life is repeating in that monotony. So that is not your story. Your story starts when then one day something happens to make what they want seem possible. Suddenly there is this possibility of achieving their dream of getting what they want, or there's this invitation to take action. So this is the moment when your story really starts. So you want that then one day moment to happen early on in your story, because before that we're just treading water. Then we're into the fourth element, which is the real meat of your story. And that's all the problems, the obstacles, the conflicts that your real person is going to come up against. And this is just so important because this is the very long part of your story or your book or your script. So there has to be lots of problems, conflicts, obstacles for your real person to overcome to keep us interested in the story and to keep that story twisting and turning. And then the fifth element is the ending, where everybody lives happily ever after, their problems are resolved, or at least for now, but there's some sort of balance restored in this person's life after they've gone on this journey. And you can see the structure works with, you start looking at all your favourite books and your favourite films and favourite TV shows, you'll see that basic structure. And it's really easy to dissect it when you start to think of fairy tales. So if you take Cinderella for example, once upon a time, I think that's a fantastic way to start any of your stories, with once upon a time, because that gets you back in that childlike mode for writing. So often when I'm writing a story or a script, I will literally type once upon a time, because you can always delete it later. But as soon as you say those words once upon a time, you want to start talking about somebody in a place. So once upon a time we've got Cinderella who's stuck in the kitchen, and that's her life. And what she wants is freedom, love, respect, escape. And every day of her life repeats like that. Until a then one day moment, which is when she gets the invite to the ball. Suddenly it seems possible to find that love and that freedom and that respect. So that's when the journey really starts for her. But of course then all the problems, obstacles, conflicts come about. So she's no idea how to find a dress, get a carriage, get to the ball. The fairy godmother comes along, and of course if the fairy godmother was able to grant all her wishes very easily without any problems, again there would be no story. So the fairy godmother makes her a dress, but the next problem is she needs a carriage. Fairy godmother makes a carriage. The next problem is she needs to leave the ball at 12. Cinderella says, yes, I can do that. She's kissing the prince at 12. So problem, what's she going to do? She has to run out the door. So it's problem after problem after problem, until she gets her Prince Charming and lives happily ever after, or at least for now. And I think it's just beautiful in that story that the then one day moment is an invite, because that really strikes me that it's an invite to action for this person you're writing about, an invite to do something different, an invite to have the courage to step out and to try and get what it is they want. But it's really important to remember that the point of the story is the underlying emotional journey of the person you're writing about. So if we take Cinderella, for example, usually Cinderella's a romantic and a dreamer. But if Cinderella was a gold digger, all the external elements of the story, all the plot would be the same. She'd be looking for freedom and escape. She'd see the invite to the ball as a chance to get what she wants. She'd have the same problems and obstacles until she lives happily ever after, gets her prince, and then knocks him off and keeps the money and the castle for herself. So it's a very, very different story. So it's not the plot that matters, it's the underlying emotional journey that matters. It's how that real person you're writing about sees the story and views the story. Because remember, we're always seeing the story through their point of view. And you always know that you've written a story when the person you're writing about has changed from the beginning to the end. Because really the story starts when the person wants something externally, but the true story is about what they need. So this is where the fairy tales fall down a bit, because what Cinderella needs is to stand up for herself, and that doesn't happen in the fairy tale. But when we're writing our stories, the person we're writing about will have to undergo some inner change to actually admit what they need in their life and to take what they need in their life, to choose what they need, to choose how they need to change to grow. And that's so important as well, that the person you're writing about is choosing to change. They're always making choices the whole way through the story. So we are putting that person under pressure with all our conflict, problems, obstacles, because we want to see their mask drop. We all have a mask that we keep on for society. In a story, it's our job as a writer to make that mask drop off the person we're writing about, so we can see the real person underneath. So we see when they're under pressure how they choose to act, and we begin to see who they truly are. So that choosing is important. And that choosing how they act is important when you're thinking about what problems and conflict to put them under. So you don't want something to come from outside to solve all their problems. You want this person to do something, or to change something inside themselves, or to find the courage to do something differently. And that's how they win out at the end of the story. No matter what we throw at them, they come out the hero in their own story, because they have had the courage to change and to step out into the world as who they truly are, beyond their masks, and then they become a hero to us, the reader. So those 5 elements you need to structure any story is having a real person in a place, in a situation, who wants something really badly. Then one day the possibility comes along that they might be able to achieve that thing, to get that thing, to find that thing. You put them under pressure with all the problems, obstacles, conflict you can throw at them, until the end they have their problems solved, restore their balance, because they have changed and grown in some way, and they're going out into the world a better person. So I hope that helps you to structure your story. It's not really a way to write, but when you've got your mess, your splurge, as we talked about in the first week, and you want to shape it up a bit, to edit it, that's when you can look at all these elements and kind of go, am I starting as early enough? Is that then one day moment really early enough? Have I got lots of problems and obstacles in their way? Is that mask dropping off? Am I seeing them when they're vulnerable, when they're scared? And have they changed by the end of this story? So if you are inspired, I'd love you to send some of your stories and poems to me, and a lucky few will be able to get some feedback from me every week. And next week I'll be starting a new series of videos called The Writer's Room. And the first of those will show what it's really like to spend a day as a writer. And also in those videos I'll be answering some of your questions about writing, so please do send those to me as well.